And it's time now to look at the press review. And Elitsa David joins us. And Elitsa, papers are discussing the use of AI in warfare. What have you found?
That's right, Oliver. Well, I want to start with this front page here by French left-wing paper Libération. And the headline here reads, AI war in automatic mode. And it's an analysis that says that today AI plays a very significant role in warfare, including in Iran, Ukraine, and in Gaza. And the article talks about the many different uses of AI. It gives many examples, including US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's AI first approach. And it says that what has changed with AI is that there's no need for data analysts to analyze anymore the information that comes from satellites and video imagery, for example. This is all done by AI bots. So in practical terms, AI accelerates the kill chain, writes Libération. And the article also speaks about the cognitive gap between the person who launches the attack and the victim and how it desensitizes the attacker. And it also mentions a study by King's College in London that says that AI models appear to make decisions that lead to escalation way more quickly than when humans make the decisions. So, for example, they threaten to use nuclear weapons in nearly 95% of the simulated scenarios. And that's also the topic of this interview here by a French left-wing paper Le Monde that interviewed a philosopher who specializes in military ethics. And she says the use of lethal autonomous weapons controlled by AI goes against the principles of a just war. And she says that in order to ensure the proportionality of the strike, we actually need to take a step back, and data needs to be verified in advance by humans in order to carry out what has been dubbed effective human oversight.
And speaking about AI, a German actress, Collien Fernandes, revealed publicly last week that her ex-husband has been spreading deepfake pornography of her.
Yeah, that's right. And that case has been dubbed digital rape. And Der Spiegel here is talking about the latest interview that Fernandes gave to German media. And she said that Germany is a haven for perpetrators and only 2.4% of digital violence is reported. She also spoke about her personal experience with German law enforcement. And she says that the whole process has been discouraging. And in other, different AI news here from TechCrunch. The paper cites a study that outlines the dangers of asking AI chatbots for personal advice. So more and more people are doing this, especially younger people. The article says that 12% of US teenagers turn to the chatbots for emotional support. They ask them for all sorts of advice, like even drafting breakup texts or putting like a whole chat with a person in order to get an analysis of that. But the problem is that AI usually validates our behavior. So that means that we are lacking the so-called tough love, or simply said, it just convinces people that they are right and it makes them way less likely to apologize.
Now, moving to a story about squatters in South Korea's capital, Seoul. What have you found there?
Yeah, it's a big feature article here by American paper, The New York Times. It says the squatters in the richest part of Seoul. And here, the cover of photo, we can already see the contrast between the squatters here and the very rich district filled with skyscrapers. It's called the Gangnam district, and it follows the story of Miss Lee. So the government offered her, that's her, Miss Lee, they offered her more than $3,000 for her hut and told her to vacate or face eviction. But owning a home is a struggle and she has nowhere else to go, she told the New York Times. So she's actually fighting to stay. And Gangnam, the district where she lives, inspired actually the K-pop hit Gangnam Style, but the more fancy part, of course. And their prices have been spiking faster and higher than anywhere else in Seoul.
And finally, you have some good news for women around the world from the domain of science.
That's right. It's the article here reporting that on one of the least studied human organs, the clitoris, and scientists have finally managed to map the nerves inside the clitoris, and this comes 30 years after the same thing has been done for the penis. And it's super beneficial, says The Guardian, not only, of course, for women's pleasure and orgasms, but also understanding the organ better could prevent poorer sexual function after pelvic operations, for instance, or after cancer. And the mapping of the nerves could also help with reconstructive surgery after female genital mutilation, which The Guardian dubs as one of the most extreme examples of cultural misogyny. And you might wonder, why is this coming so late? The Guardian explains that a cultural taboo around female sexuality has persisted for decades and has held back scientific research. And the clitoris only entered standard textbooks in the 20th century, way later than the penis. And yeah, I'm really looking forward for this 3D map that will be released soon, Oliver.
A breakthrough, a welcome breakthrough on a highly sensitive yet very important matter. Thank you very much for that, Elitziga Deva. And that's all we have time for now, but do stay with us for more news coming up on France 24.